Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, where we keep you up to date with everything going on in the Cold Fusion community. We'll share the latest news on events, releases to engines, frameworks, libraries, and tools, as well as spotlighting quality content from the community. Welcome back to another episode of Modernize or Die CFML News Edition. And guess who we have today?
Hello, everyone. I'm back.
Andrew's back again. We're playing musical chairs here on the podcast. Keep it fresh, keep it fun. So let's get straight into it, huh?
Yep, let's do it, man.
So first on the news is Ortus Solutions. Again, Ortus is thankfully supporting this podcast, and Ortus is expanding. So I don't know if you guys knew, but into the box this year, we announced that we have a whole crew of people down in El Salvador. So not only does our company donate to some orphanages down in El Salvador, we actually have a team of developers down there. So we have a couple of designers, a few developers, a couple of project managers, and everything down there. And to keep building on top of that, Ortus Solutions is expanding, and they just incorporated Ortus Solutions El Salvador last week. So it's pretty cool that we're actually incorporated down there now, and that's basically a big push in the Latin America. So we're actually working on plans for an into-the-box Latin America. Shh, that might be still a secret. So there might be another into-the-box version. So we'll have 2 conferences coming up. But yeah, we're really just trying to, really promote web development and, modernize Latin America in any way we can. So we thought this is another way to build up the web team, and we have a bunch of great guys down there, and hopefully some of them will be coming to CF Summit, and you guys will be able to meet them into the box too. So that's pretty exciting for Ortus. Keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, and for those of y'all who do not know, and you can correct me if I'm a little bit wrong, but El Salvador is where Luis is from. Is that correct? His family and things like that. So he's got a lot of strong ties to that area. That's the reason why he had chosen El Salvador for his orphanage ministry there, donations to them and whatnot. So he's definitely attached to that area, and it's good to see, giving back to where he came from and things like that. So that's really cool.
Yep, exactly. And he grew up there. And Jorge Reyes, a project manager. Most of you guys should know Jorge. But yeah, he's from El Salvador as well. And so yeah, it's a big part of our company from before. And now we've got a whole team down there, and they're a great group of guys, and a lot of good developers, smart guys coming through. So you'll see more of them as we go on. So excited to get that going, and can't wait for Into the Box Latin America. That sounds pretty exciting too.
Yeah, that is going to be pretty exciting. So Edgardo, is he going to be heading things up down there when Luis is not around? Or
Yep, Edgardo is a big part of that team, and Sonia.
Cool.
Sonia's a designer. Stephanie's another project manager. So Edgardo's in charge of a lot of the marketing for us. So you see the newsletters that come out and everything. So we're really trying to just step everything up, and these guys are doing a great job. So thank you again, guys.
Excellent.
And
he was a cool. I got to meet him at Into the Box this last year. It was really cool getting to meet him. It was an utmost pleasure to be of his service, right? Because that was the inside joke we had. He's a really cool guy, and everybody I've met or has spoken to in the El Salvador team is really cool. So
he's a great guy. One of the genuinely most happiest person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be. So that's cool. Yep. All right, enough of that there. What else do we have in terms of new news?
Well, new news, it looks like Adobe's CF Summit has got another announcement. So they've announced another pre-conference training.
Stepping it up.
Yep. So we originally started with the Adobe Specialist Program, but now they've added another workshop. So they added 2 previously, we've discussed on the previous weeks. But now they've added a third training in addition to the Specialist Program. So they're doing a performance monitoring tool set, which is going to be led by the Adobe team. So they're doing a lot of work with their performance monitoring tools. And so this full-day workshop will really give you the inside outs and nuts and bolts of how to get in there and really use it to help monitor your system and make sure things are running as they should. So It's a pretty cool tool. At the roadshow, Alicia showed us a little bit about it and went through some of it, and it looks like a great tool. So if you guys haven't used it and you're looking for something like that, if you guys are using the Cold Fusion and the licenses, I believe this comes with the licenses for you. So it's a great tool to have included.
That's cool. That was my next question. I was going to ask if the Performance Monitor toolset was part of Enterprise or the standard editions or what.
Yeah, I know for sure it's part of Enterprise. I'm not sure if it comes with standard. It may not. Well, that's a good question. So we'll
to check that out and let you guys know. But obviously, this is geared towards a certain group of people, and so if you are someone lucky enough to be running the Enterprise Edition and want to get the most out of it, be sure to check this out. And so we still have early bird specials going on, right?
Yep. So CF Summit is still early bird specials. I checked this morning for you guys. So if you haven't got your ticket, you can still jump in and grab it. If this pre-conference looks good, you can do the pre-conference with that as well. The certification process, it's still early bird prices for everything. So they've got to put the price up soon. It's too good of a deal to leave going, but we're 2 months out now. We're August 6th. It's only a couple months away, so they've got to put the prices up soon. So guys, jump on it while you can. Again, a great conference. We got a lot of great speakers. We got 4 or 5 from the Ortus team, about 5 from Adobe, and a whole bunch of community speakers too. So it's a great conference. It's held at the Mirage this year. It's a good venue, so we're looking forward to another action-packed couple of days there. And they do have a nice party, so it's definitely worth the money. You guys will get your value out of it for $99. It's kind of a steal. So jump into that. But again, the workshops, they do have the workshops the day before. So the 1st and the 2nd, the Tuesday, Wednesday is the conference, and then the day before is the pre-conference day on September 30th. It's Adobe Specialist Certificate Program. Again, it's a full day classroom session. There are some prerequisites. They'll give you some videos to watch before you get there, and then you can take your little certification test, and you can walk out with a certification. So if you guys are new to Cold Fusion or something like that, this is a great way to show your proficiency and really add that on top of your resume, shall we say. So that's again the day before, and then they have the 3 pre-conference trainees now. So Pete Freitag is going to do the hands-on Cold Fusion security workshop. Charlie Earhart's going from 0 to 60 with Docker and Cold Fusion images, and then again we just mentioned the performance monitoring toolset with Adobe's Cold Fusion team.
Charlie, what if I want to go faster than 60 though, man? What do I do?
Get a ticket.
Put in a ticket. Okay, good to get a ticket. Yeah, good deal.
So
cool, man. So what else we got coming up on? We have the summit. We have the trainings.
Yep.
The Ortus trainings.
Yeah. So before we have Adobe's trainings the day before the conference. So that's Monday. The conference is Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. If you guys can make your travel a little longer, you guys can stay and hang out with us as we have the Ortus team is going to be putting on 2 different boot camps.
Yeah, and so you can start, if you'd like, going from 0 to 60 in the Docker and Cold Fusion with Charlie, but then you can jump in going from 0 to hero on the Cold Box side of things. It's going to be led by Gavin, my co-host here, and Eric Peterson. And also, if you want to go a little bit faster, a little bit deeper than a hero or 60 miles an hour, you can go from hero to superhero. And the API edition is going to be led by Luis Mahano and Brad Wood. And man, I did Luis's name perfect, I think. Don't tell me, guys, if I didn't. But hey, it sounded good to me. And the dates of those are going to be the 3rd, October 3rd, and October the 4th. And they're going to be held at the Aria Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, just around the corner, or a block. And remind you guys, a block in Vegas is what we call here in the South a country mile. So just because you can see the place may not mean you can walk to it, or may not mean that you would want to. But just keep that in mind.
Yep. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. Again, we're going to be in the Area Tower Suites, which is very exclusive. We're limited to 10 people because we're in the suites in this corporate meeting room, basically. So really nice meeting area. Be perfect for the small, intimate training where we get to be, we got 2 trainers for each of the trainings. We've only 10 students. You might even have a helper or 2. So that means that you guys will get that really one-on-one attention you need. So we urge you to sign up quick. I know the seats are going pretty fast, and if you want to get your travel booked, it's coming up soon. Make sure you save those couple extra days for the boot camp. So it's always a lot of fun. We meet a lot of great people, and then that's how we met Andrew. Andrew showed up to one of our boot camps, and now he's one of the crew. So we made some good friends. You get a couple of days with people, you really get to know them, and so really enjoying, that. We've built up a good number of people over the years of all these trainings. So,
Yeah, that's one thing too I want to mention to people. Me coming from somebody that attended a workshop, the help really doesn't just stop there. It's not like you just go home and what you learned is what you learned. Not Ortus really they put together a Slack channel for each individual sessions, and initially to pass out information in the class, but also so you can easily get help and things like that, into the future. And it's really cool that things just don't stop when you go home. Ortus in this boot camp. I don't know if that's by design or if that's just by the goodness of Luis's nature, but that's really cool, and I thoroughly appreciate that. So,
yep. And one of the cool things is that in those channels, when we talk, a lot of the people will ask a question, and other members from the group will answer it, and you sort of get like a little cohort, a little group that kind of stick together and help each other. And then in future conferences, you see those guys hanging out together talking, and so you make good friends, not just with the Ortus team, but the people that are there training too. So anyway, it's a great experience. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. And the conference is great and everything, but we have a lot of fun in these. And and if you guys are not brain dead after the day, we usually try and hang out in the evening, and people like to pick our brains about different stuff, and everyone's always saying, can we go do this? Can we do that? And so we usually go eat somewhere together, and, we might hit Top Golf or something and smash some golf balls and have a laugh, play some shuffleboard or something, so it's just good times all around. So
yeah, no doubt. And it definitely goes deeper than just a simple conference. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yep.
So, what else do we have coming up? Pretty much the same thing, right? The same good conference stuff that you guys are taking over to India.
Yep.
That's going to be really cool. I don't know if there's going to be any top golf going on down in India, but whatever the cool
cricket
thing is there, top cricket, man. You can't be making. You're like poking fun or something like that. I know cricket's a real sport. Never mind. Forget that.
Yeah, India loves the cricket.
Showing my ignorance here.
You can probably play cricket.
Yeah, showing my ignorance here.
But hey, yeah, it's a good opportunity if you guys can't make it to Europe for CF Camp or Vegas for CF Summit. Luis is going to be in India for this boot camp, 2-day boot camp, doing the Cold Box 0 to Hero. And if you've not done Cold Box at all, it'll be a great starting point for you. If you've done some, but you don't feel that familiar or comfortable, a lot of the modules and everything, it's still a great learning experience. Fill in the gaps and get some time in there with Luis. And if it's in your neck of the woods, definitely check it out. It's like October 16th and 17th there. And then
yeah, definitely. And there is a discount code. We want to make mention of that. So if you are planning on signing up in India for the 2-day boot camp, there's a discount code, podcast 10.
And that is actually good for the Vegas ones too. Thanks for reminding me.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, good deal. I didn't know that. But so yeah, Vegas conference. Let's back up just a second here. If you're planning on attending one of the workshops.
Yep, podcast 10 is the discount code. We do have a
discount code, podcast 10. I'm assuming the 10 means we're going to get a 10% discount.
That's the idea,
right?
Yep.
So
if you guys
cool
listen to this
deal.
podcast,
So let's go in there and somebody type in podcast 100 real quick and see if it works.
Sorry, I don't think we set that one up.
I know, but I would have totally done that just to see. I'm that kind of person.
Yep. So
I wouldn't have done it, but
yeah,
but,
So there is a discount code there for the India one as well, and the same with the ones in CF Camp and over there in Germany. So CF Camp, we are doing trainings before. So on the 15th and 16th of October, we'll be doing some boot camp training there as well, and we have Brad and Eric running those. So we have Brad is running the API REST edition, which is the Hero to Superhero from Vegas. So if you can't make the one in Vegas, Brad will be running that one at CF Camp. And then Eric Peterson is changing it up a little bit, and he's going to be doing the Rest Easy at Night with Testbox BDD. So that way, if you guys have done the Cobalt Zero to Hero, it's another good workshop. The Testbox is a great one. A 2-day testing workshop will be really good. And Eric's top testing guy. He knows his stuff. So again, the code for that will work there as well. So podcast 10, and those are available to sign up. And if you guys didn't hear the last couple of weeks, we said the speaker deadline is over now. So it's closed. The speakers have been announced. We got a lot of great speakers announced there. Eric, Brad, and Jorge are all going to be speaking on behalf of Ortus. And we have a lot of great community speakers there too. So it looks like a really great conference, a lot of good speakers, a lot of good sessions. So if you guys want to go check that out at cfcamp.org, you can find out more information about it. And the tickets are available online now too. So their early bird is supposedly over. I didn't check to see if the prices gone up. They probably have. But the regular tickets prices are going, I think they're up until October 15th. So their pricing looks like they're about €300. It goes up to about $370 and then $425 if you get the tickets late. So you guys may want to jump on that ASAP just so you get those good prices. So.
Yeah, and while we're here, I just want to name off some of these session titles and see if any of these might strike your interest. Because just looking at them real quickly, but there's one session is titled "A Comedy of Errors in Web App Security." Another one says "An In-Depth Introduction to Vue.js." We got another title, "REST API in Under 5 Minutes with Preside." We have automated database migrations with CF Migrations being done by Eric Peterson. Building secure applications is the title one. But doesn't everyone on the internet speak English? I have a feeling that's going to be about I18N and locales, just by that. And that's really cool because I know as an English speaking or a redneck speaking developer, I have a tendency to be closed-minded towards the international languages, I suppose, crowd. And it's only because of, my client base and their needs, but it is definitely important because the internet is a global place, essentially. So anyway, off of that one, here we got comparing monitoring solutions for CF and Lucy. It's going to be led by Charlie Earhart. We're going to have continuous documentation. The best time is now, which probably is I'm just assuming is going to be like, hey, write your docs while you're writing your code, or else you're going to forget what you wrote, right?
Yep.
Then we have titled Deploying and Testing Your Sites with Bitbucket, Design Patterns, Common Solutions to Common Problems. And we have end-to-end testing of Cold Fusion applications using Test Cafe. That sounds interesting. Yeah, it does. Flutter for web, beautiful apps and websites with a single code base. Then we have asynchronous and synchronous code there and back again. Talking about callbacks and JavaScript then to Scribe. Sounds interesting. Hardware connectivity on the progressive web. That really sounds interesting. Especially anybody building Vue.js apps. I would definitely like to see that. Okay, how to design your users' needs and expectations in mind. Mouseless development in VI mode. Multi-language / multi-OS communication using RabbitMQ. And let's see, that one's going to be done by, who's that? That's Will. Yep. And practical lessons learned from 250 plus legacy CFML projects. So that's going to be led by Jorge, and he's a project manager at Ortus. Then we have squeezing performance of a Lucy application to Fusion React. I didn't realize, I'm glad I just did this to start naming these off because these are really some good sessions. Then we also have testing, how vital and easy to use. That Uma's going to be talking about Testbox and Mockbox and JMeter there. Then we also have Nolan's got a session on testing my non-Coldbox sites with Testbox, and that is huge. I remember a few years back when I had first started getting into Cold Fusion. Well, let's see, back into Cold Fusion and into Cold Box. There's a misconception that you had to have a Cold Box site in order to use TestBox. That is incorrect. So,
that's why I'm going to be talking at CF Summit about how to get the biggest bang for your buck with testing, that type of thing too. Where everybody assumes you have to be using Cold Box to use TestBox, and all those Cold Box, box products are all they all run by themselves. They're all standalone too, so you don't have to mix and match. So
for sure. And we got two more titles. One is the trials and tribulations of moving to Linux as a developer. And then why the Firefox dev tools are not as bad as you might think, and why Firebug had to die. So it sounds like a lot of good tools for some UI, UX people, as well as good back end. I tell you one thing, man, I really like about the Cold Fusion community. I did attend a conference, and I don't want to get into it too detail, but I attended a conference this past weekend, Underground JS. Great conference, JavaScript front end conference. It was their first conference. And it is for JavaScript front end, but one thing it didn't have was, any kind of back end hook to it, and what I really like seeing is, Into the Box and, CF Camp and places like this. Obviously, even though we're Cold Fusion developers, we all have some sort of front end responsibility, whether you like to admit it or not, you do. And so being able to work together is the key. It doesn't matter how great your API is if you don't have a great UI. It doesn't matter how great your UI is if you don't have a great backend, So I just like seeing the community be able to work together. That's really cool.
We have a big variety of stuff in our conferences for sure. I mean, like some of that security, some of it's, tools, just a lot of different things. And it sounds like a great conference. Like I said, next year, hoping to get there, 2020, fingers crossed, I'll make it over to the pond and meet a lot of people. Like I say, the cool thing about Europe is it is very different. There's a lot of languages and everything else. Internationalization is just key. They just have different problems they solve. And so they bring a different angle and perspective, and it makes a difference. You can tell with those titles that just, it's not the same, and a lot of different content over there. So pretty cool. So
right, yeah, definitely. I mean, even Kai's the trials and tribulations moving from Linux as a developer. I remember back in the day, I started off on a Windows machine, and I remember learning Linux, and it was brutal for me. Now personally, I love it now, and couldn't do anything other than that. But definitely, there's trials and tribulations, and that's all part of what we deal with, as developers. Even though Cold Fusion runs on Linux as well as Windows, as a developer, it's still some of the things you need to know about. So it's really cool to see all aspects of, our developers' daily life being mentioned and talked about at these conferences. So, all right, enough of that blab. What else do we have? Gab.
So let's move on to the blogs, tweets, and videos of the week. So we got quite a bit here.
I'm a poet and didn't know it. Sorry. I've been away too long. I can't help it, man. Sorry.
Yeah, all good. So, so we have another podcast. So the CF Alive podcast is doing a lot of great interviews right now. They interviewed Alicia last week. We talked about that from the Cold Fusion team about the specialty program. So if you guys want to know more about the specialty program, go listen to that podcast. It has a lot of great info in it. But this last week, they released a podcast about Cold Fusion Command Box versus Node.js, a dev feature shootout with Nolan Irk. So he actually spoke about this at Into the Box, and so it was a good session. And he speaks about more of this in the podcast. So again, all these links are going to be in the show notes, which you can find on cfmlnews.modernize.io. So we'll put those up when we post the audio version to the website, so you'll have all the links there. But again, Ben Nadal's been busy. I chose a couple of his in here. He has a lot. But so he had a few blog posts, and a lot of them are just interesting little things. He likes to share little bits and pieces he learns. And so one of them was the image scale to fit has invalid size errors in earlier versions of Lucy. So he was doing stuff where he wanted to make like a 100 by 100 icon, for example. But if he had like a 500 by 5 image, when you shrink the 500 down to 100, that 5 becomes, well, actually, if it would be under 5, it would be less than 1, and then it throws an error because it rounds down to 0, I think. So, so some weird stuff like that where, he showed you a tip and trick about how to get around that. So it's pretty cool. He also had one about cached within function memoization can be applied to closures and whatnot. So in Lucy, it's kind of cool how the cache within works on a lot of different things. So instead of just queries like most people use it, you can use it on closures and even events. So your handlers and stuff like that in CFC. So it's pretty neat how all that stuff ties in. So he talks about that. And then went into some more detail on using HMAC and some ordered struct to implement it into a secure email tracking pixel. So that's kind of neat too. Again, like I said, just lots of little bits and pieces that he sort of plays with. And that one's kind of interesting how he was looking at making a secure email tracking pixel. So I thought that was pretty neat. So if you guys get time to read that. And he also was playing with some Java loader stuff too. So the CF catch can target explicit Java exception types even with Java loader. And so he tagged Mark Mandel, and he's like, "You guys still using that?" Because obviously Mark's moved on and he's working with Google now on some open source stuff there. But Java loader's still a big part of a lot of Cold Fusion projects, and we use it with and we have a module built on top of that. But now with Java settings and stuff like that in your apps, you can get around the Java loader. But he just talks about how you can actually catch explicit Java exceptions with CF catch, and and a lot of people don't know that. If you're diving into the Java ecosystem, you need to be able to handle the errors, and so that was kind of a neat post for that. So it was pretty cool. So unfortunately, Ben, we can only do about 4 or 5 year blog posts. So the other 8 or 10 you'll have to go find on your own, guys. Sorry.
And they can all be found at ben.l.com. So there you go. Easy way. Yep. But yeah, he's definitely, I think we've all have read Ben's post over the years, and I know I have. So it's good to see it back and doing it.
I just like the fact he finds these weird things and shows you how to solve them. Because a lot of times you run into the same issue and people don't remember to blog that stuff. I tried to in the past, and I've been really slack about my blogging lately. I apologize. But those little things that just, irk you, and you finally solve them. If you don't share it, it's not out there for everybody else, and someone else is going to suffer the same misery trying to figure it out. So, if you guys may not have a blog, but there's ways to share it. The Adobe community, coldfusion.adobe.com, people can post little articles on there now as well. So, if you guys find something and fix it, please share. It really does make a big difference.
Yeah, believe it or not, it does. I know I used to... I had started a command box site and started not technically blogging, but putting snippets of code in there. And if somebody came across it, that was cool, that it might help them out. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to write very good descriptions on things. And so it might have led to more confusion. But for me, it helped because I knew what it meant. And, somewhere, write it down for yourself, for somebody else. It's really helpful. All right, so what else do we have? We got a bunch of blog posts. It seems like everybody was just waiting for me to get back, right? Is that what it was, guys? Were y'all just waiting for me to get back to bombard with blogs? No? Okay. Well, there's nobody to answer, so.
Now, alias Paul Yorak, I always forget his name. That's why people...
Yeah, that's John Wish.
John.
That's John.
Okay, John. See, I always forget who it is. There's a few weird names out there. That's why I think when we have conference passes, we need to have your Twitter handle and a picture so we know who they actually really are, because I don't remember.
Well, and not a picture, but your
you need both the avatar.
Avatar, yeah.
Yep,
avatar and your handle. Yeah.
But
that's funny.
He released a couple of blog posts to the coldfusion.adobe.com site this week. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, one of them was he just wanted to quickly debug some stuff. And like in JavaScript, you can do the table, console.table to output a struct into like a table format. So you can easily see something, which is pretty neat. And he's like, well, what if I'm in Cold Fusion? What can I do? And so he thought it might be the best way to do it is like, if you just dump a query out, it creates a nice little table format. So he did something where he converted an array of structs over to a query just so he could debug it, basically a nice table format for that. So I thought it was kind of neat, you know. Obviously, he even says it's not production-ready code or anything, but it's something for debugging and working through stuff. So a nice little one there. So converting an array of structs to query dynamically. And then another one he mentioned was chained assignment.
Hang on, let's back that up just a second, though. Console.table for JavaScript will take a struct and dump it as a table in your console log?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Amazing. Did not know that. I learned something new today. Thank you, John, Gavin. Love you guys. Seriously.
Yeah, console dot has a whole bunch of functions. Everyone just uses console.log, but there's a whole series of things you can log out to the console in different formats. So
excellent. Yeah. So there's no reason to console.log and then do a serialized JSON of your data. That's what I was usually ended up having to serialize it before I pass it and then whatever. Nice to know. Thank you.
Yeah, if you don't want it to mutate on you, then the serialize deserialize is good. But yeah, there's some other functions which actually will, I think it spit it out so you don't have to do that, but I always forget them. But yeah, the table one's pretty neat. Nice. But yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, the other one he was talking about was chained assignments, beware of dragons. And this is something I never done. I mean, I know you can, and people do that where X equals B equals C equals something. And so everything gets, set with the same value. But he was saying, depending on the order and what you're doing, and if you VASCOPE the first one, it doesn't VASCOPE the ones preceding it, so there's all sorts of weird oddities in it. But I never used chained assignments. I guess I'm just not cool enough.
Yeah, I have not used them either.
I guess if you're really trying to save lines of code, you might, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, it may also come, some people are more verbose in their writings as well. That's kind of like the equivalent of using a single line if statement versus multi-line if statement, I would assume, right? I mean, it does things differently, but like as far as the mentality of thinking, what do you write, right? Do you write it one line or two lines? Who knows?
Yeah,
obviously
I'm not
somebody has come across that.
I'm all for using a little more, but every once in a while, I'll get reminded that there are better ways to do things. But yeah, chained assignments, it just looks like you're asking for trouble. So, but yep, it's interesting though. I mean, it's one of those weird things. Definitely check it out if you just have a look. But we got a tweet here too from Brad.
No, imagine that. Sorry, Brad. Love you, dude. So what do we have here? Oh, cool. So Brad, I guess, is talking about Adrian Sanchez contributed to a section of the command box docs. So basically tells you how to walk through setting up command box server on Amazon Lightsail. So anybody interested in command box and Amazon Lightsail, go check out that section of the docs. commandbox.ortusbooks.com is where you can find that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because Amazon, if you guys haven't used it, it's overwhelming. There's so many settings and flags and everything else. So Lightsail is basically a stripped down DigitalOcean style way to get your stuff. So it's like $5 a month, that type of setup where you get this much hard drive, this much CPU, this much bandwidth, just very similar to DigitalOcean and then Droplet. So it's, very simple. You just pick your package and away you go instead of having to set up 500 different settings. So it was kind of neat for him to go through and show us how to do that. So that was nice. So if you guys are looking at Amazon Lightsail, then check that out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually looking at that right. I guess I can't because I got a show to do. Hang on. All right, back to the show. So Charlie has a blog post about getting started with Adobe's Cold Fusion Docker images. And I'm just speculating here, but I have a feeling this is probably going to be some of the basis for his talk at
CF Summit. Yep, he actually has a session.
CF Summit,
and he also has the pre-conference workshop too. So if you think you can get everything out of it in an hour, go for it with the session. But the pre-conference is, a 9 to 5 sit-up. You do get a little break there for some food and snacks. But so he was talking about how a lot of people didn't even know that they released their Docker images in May of 2018. And so...
we knew, we just didn't have a legit licensing Never mind. I'm getting out of that. Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead, sorry.
Well, I know that's one of the things people are unsure of how the Docker licensing works for Adobe CF, and so that is one of the big things, and hopefully there's a better understanding in that session. But he talks a little bit about that in the blog post, talks about his sessions coming up, and gives you a few details and better links to be able to go find them and stuff like that. So again, if you guys are working with Adobe Cold Fusion, looking at Docker, these are good options. The command box Docker images do work with Adobe as well. So, of course, we've been working with those for several years now. So there's a polished system that works with them. But we're probably going to go look at this session ourselves because we want to see what they're doing and, see if there's things we can improve to make our images better as well. So... but he also filed another couple of blog posts. So one of them was about filing issues. So he was saying that you don't have, in the issue tracker, you can actually file other things like issues in docs, the Docker images, the performance monitoring tools, CF Fiddle, and even the bug tracker itself. So I guess a lot of people are wondering where they report that stuff. And so he explains that you can do that too.
Yeah, for sure. And if you have a bug or think you have a bug to report, definitely look at reporting it in the right place. That's my recommendation. Even if it's not directly related to this Adobe thing, but any like software package, open source package, or anything, find the proper place that the developer will look at and monitor. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be at Facebook or on Slack if it's a true problem or bug. So if you can submit it properly, it definitely helps out the developers because they can actually respond to it quicker if it's already in the realm of their trouble tickets because they're working just like you guys are. It's an open source project. They're in the middle of something, client deadlines. Oh crap, you have a problem. Well, I can't drop everything at the moment to see what your problem is, and I get to look back to it. You're not available. But you know what? Had you submitted the information in the proper ticketing place, we can get to it in the middle of the night and look at it and see, those kind of things. So help everybody out by submitting any tickets through the proper methods. That's a good life lesson, right? For coding.
Yep. So that's a good blog post there from Charlie, especially if you're working with those and you want to complain, file an issue. And sometimes, it can be an improvement or it could be a bug. It doesn't have to be just bugs. So if you've got ideas for how to make it better, we can take those too. And all Ortus products have their own boards as well. So if you guys have any issues with Ortus products, please file a ticket and we'll follow back with you. And that's a big part of making these products better. If we don't know there's something missing or something can be made better, then we can't do much about it. So. And then Fusion Reactor had a couple of blog posts out there too. So it looks like they're sponsoring a few events. I know they're sponsoring VelocityConf in Berlin, but they're also sponsoring CF Camp and CF Summit too.
Nice.
So
I was looking over here. This looks like just kind of introduction, letting you know where that the Fusion Reactor guys are putting back into the community. Even though it's a community project and they still, well, not a community project, I don't want to say that. They do it for the community. But you have to give back to the people that you're getting from. And that's what they do by supporting all these events. So it's kind of like a full circle deal, I think, right? Does that sound logical?
Yep.
So if you guys interested in checking out and see what the Fusion Reactor guys, where they're going to be, you can also see that their blog post. Also, what do we have here? Appears to be there were some issues with running Fusion Reactor on OpenJDK 11.02 to 11.04.
Yep.
We'll pull this up here.
There's a
Is
just
it
in
fixed,
time.
resolved?
I'm not sure. Probably if there's a newer version, but I know there was a just in time compiler issue or something that they had. So yeah, so just a little blog post about a bug there. So just wanted to mention that too, in case anyone's running those versions and you're having issues with Fusion Reactor crashing, that might be your problem.
Right. Yeah, definitely just keep that in mind. Also, what do we have here? We have something from Michael Bourne as well. Processing, form processing in script, the CF script. All right, let's open this up here. Oh, we're on a Dev2 chat. There's also another place you can post things, blog stuff at Dev2, dev.to.
Yep.
It's a good platform. And honestly, it'd be cool to see more Cold Fusion stuff on there because I know when I was at that JavaScript conference, I mean, people were mentioning Dev2 left and right. And so all the front end stuff that they were posting and things, whatnot, was all on that site. So it's good seeing Cold Fusion stuff there. More exposure and more locations. Thank you, dude.
And yeah, so that's the second part of this series he's got. So the first part was talking more about validation, and this one's talking more about, saving those form entries to the database. And I thought it was kind of cool how he showed the SQL piece and then the JSON version. So you could just store a JSON chunk in there, and he showed you how to actually, select the name out of a JSON chunk in the database, depending on your version of your database tool and whatnot. So it was kind of neat, so.
Yeah, and this was used in MySQL. And there's also a follow-up to that about that. In that same blog post, there's a lead into using JSON data fields in MySQL. And just so you know, you can also do that in MS SQL.
Yeah, the newer versions have some really cool tools in it for JSON manipulation and everything. Depends on your version. They have more and more support the later you go, obviously. But yeah, they can do some pretty cool stuff in it now.
Yeah, for sure. So what else do we have other than some blog posts? It looks like we got a whole new section for you guys.
Yeah, we started another section just highlighting some of the job opportunities because, Cold Fusion developers listening to this podcast, maybe you're looking for some work. So there's a couple job posts that popped up on Twitter this week, a couple from the remotepeople.io and a couple from the getcfmljobs.com. So we have one, looks like a Cold Fusion software developer in Carlsbad, California, or remote, which is kind of nice. And that's for working for Enviance. And so there's a role there.
Yeah, there's also a senior software engineer in Roseville, California, that we saw posted from getcfmljobs.com. You'd have to inquire directly in with them. There's also, what is this here? Tutuka.
Yeah, I was curious myself about that. So it's a developer for payment and wallet space. So they do a lot of payment APIs and everything. And I think Tutuka is the name of the company, and it's a remote position. So there's another opportunity there too. So if you guys have, worked in the payment area or any of that, they've got a couple of opportunities there too. So
yeah.
So lots of content, lots of great stuff. The community is busy as usual. So, make sure you follow those CFML and Cold Fusion hashtags on Twitter to see some of this, or check out our show notes. Like we said, it'll be at cfmlnews.modernize.io. But we're not done yet, guys. Sorry, we'll keep going. It's been a long one today.
No, we're not. It's time for the modules of the week. You can blame me. I was a little chatty because I was cut off. Not cut off, but I didn't get up here last week. So my fault. But the module of the week is none other than TestBox. And I'm going to bring you that mainly because we just talked a lot about TestBox today. So it's quite fitting, in my opinion. And I'm sure in Gavin's as well. So TestBox is a behavior-driven development and test-driven development framework for, not in, but for Cold Fusion CFML. It also includes mocking and stubbing capabilities via internal mockbox library. Quickly can be installed, box install, TestBox. Bam. TestBox is up and running, and it does not require your site to be a cold box site to run test on. Just want to make sure that's clear.
Yep.
Does not require it.
And if you're going to CF Summit or CF Camp, there's lots of sessions on TestBox. There's workshops. Eric's doing the BDD TestBox workshop before CF Camp. So you'll even see tests in the 0 to Hero and the 0 to Superhero trainings. TestBox should be part of all your work. You guys all test your code now by clicking around manually. You can automate that, make it better, make it safer. And you can see with over almost 180,000 installs of this TestBox from ForgeBox, you can see that people are using it in their CI. So when their servers are spinning up, they're running their tests in their automation pipeline. So people are using it for that, and you can test legacy code with it too. And that's part of what I'll be doing at CF Summit, is showing that. But TestBox is great. It's a great tool, and so that's definitely the module of the week, and you should be using it. And if you're not, there's a lot of great ways to learn more about it. So, say, come to one of those conferences, come to one of those workshops, and you guys will start to learn about TestBox. And of course, we have a Git book for that. So if you go to ortusbooks.com, you can go and click on the TestBox Git book and get into that.
Yep, for sure.
So we have the hints, tips, and tricks of the week for Visual Studio Code. So this one, again, we've talked quite a lot about Docker this week, so it made sense that the VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week would be an extension for Docker. So
yeah, and looks like this one here has syntax highlighting commands, hover tips, and linting for the Docker files and Docker Compose files. As you know, those are all very, what's the word? It's a stylized language in that, your code has to be in a certain location in order.
Yeah, this is the
there's
YAML,
a name for that.
Yeah, the YAML is the space where I always forget the name too.
Yeah, it's definitely space aware. In that, it means there are no other like special tags that help build out functions or variables or this. It's all based off how you format it in there. Almost kind of like formatting a document in the old pre-tags. Remember those? I still do that. I have still done that. But so anyway, yeah, this is a really cool. It'll just help you out and save you a little bit of time, hopefully, in building your Docker Compose files and Docker files.
Yep, and this is a Microsoft extension, so they have some built-in tools for using Azure too. So if you guys are using Azure, it makes it even easier. But you don't have to use Azure to make use of this one. It's got almost, it's just over 14 million downloads, so they must be doing something right. But yeah, great tools. You can plug into your commands. You can do your Docker, build commands and everything through the Command P, Control P options. So it's a great little extension. Definitely worth looking at. So there you have it. So go give that a try.
All right, guys, and I guess that's going to bring us to the name slaying portion of the show, where we want to thank all the Patreon supporters that allows us to bring excellent CFML news podcasts like this one to you, as well as other open source projects and tooling like CommandBox, ForgeBox, ColdBox, and the whole host of Box products, the open source Box products. So we would like to thank, who would we like to thank here? You want to thank don't thank me. I don't want to be thanked. We want to thank Gary Knight, Jan Yannick. I know, I'm on the list. Joseph, we did this last.
Lamery.
Upchick. No, what was the Upchick? What was his, that he did? He sent us a video. All right, I'll let you go ahead with the next ones.
Okay, Laxma, Richard, John, Calvin Stidden, we got Don Bellamy, Samuel Knowlton, David Bellinger. And thanks, David. I saw a couple of tweets about the show. He was spreading the word, so that's even more help. I appreciate
thanks for
that.
Spreading the love, my Canadian, Argentinian buddy.
Yep, we got Yogesh, Stephen Klotz, Dan Codd, Jeremy Adams, Brian White, now Dadia Lesnicki, and Scott Steinbeck, he loves the show too. He's thanked us for this podcast, so thanks for listening, Scott. We appreciate it. And we also got Jordan Clark, Matthew Clemente, and Dali. So we missed your name. You got your name wrong. Sorry about that. But again, thanks everybody for listening. It's been another long show, but with lots of great news out there, lots of community content, which is what we like to see. And hopefully the show has helped spread a little more of that out to you so you guys can keep up. And again, if you guys have anything.
Before we go, got some top chats from our Google chat. I want to just make mention. We had talked about console.log. Scott mentioned apparently there is a console.table.group.info.timer. A whole lot. So good to know. Thanks there, Scott. I'm definitely going to be digging into that here today. So sorry, I just wanted to make mention of that. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Gavin. So
no problem. But yeah, if you guys have any things you want us to talk about, if you know of any jobs going around, if you see any good blog posts or whatnot that we may have missed, please let us know. And again, those conferences are coming up hard and fast here. So in about 2 months away, there's a lot going on. So please get your tickets, book your travel, make sure you come to the Ortus workshops. We'd love to see you. And you guys have a great week.
All right, guys. We'll see you. Thank you for joining.
Have a good one, everybody. Show notes for this episode can be found at cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io, where you can also subscribe to your favorite podcast player like Spotify or iTunes. We also have the link to YouTube to find more videos just like this. The music used in this podcast is under a royalty-free license from Sound.com and Blue Tree Audio.